Okay, we continue with our interview here with Ambassador Romero and Professor Arugay. We continue our discussions on what makes this election, 2016 election, different from the previous elections. So we started with the economy, started with security issues, particularly in the South China Sea. Now let's talk about the ASEAN community. The Philippines will be hosting next year the ASEAN.
The Bimpiaga.
And then, of course, Bimpiaga is one of that. And of
yeah.
course, that would also be the 50th anniversary of ASEAN. So this is a major milestone with the
milestone.
Philippines in focus. So how should the next president deal with this?
Do you want to?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think that the president should focus on Mindanao. So
Yes.
if there's an Obama pivot, there is Mr. President or Mrs. President's pivot to Mindanao. Okay. Now that concentration on Mindanao is going to not only increase level production, income, employment in Mindanao, make it redeem the land of promise that's been touted to be, and then solve the BBL issue, because I think all of the secessionists is rooted in poverty, you know. And I think since the Bimpiaga, supported by China, is willing to invest in infrastructure and development projects.
China is supporting Bimpiaga.
Yes, China is the biggest investor in ASEAN.
Okay.
And it's tied up with the Bimpiaga project, which is a sub-project of the ASEAN. Yeah. So if China will appear in Davao, where they will have the Bimpiaga, they could have a side meeting with the new president to discuss this cooperation, which will really do a lot, as I said, to make Mindanao the food basket of Asia, etc., etc.
I heard this once. Mindanao should be the spearhead of the Philippines' participation to the ASEAN community.
It is, yes, because Mindanao is part of this island chain, which is Sulawesi, Sabah, etc., etc. And they'll be interconnected by air, land, sea, and that will do a lot for the development of all of these regions. It will solve the secessionist problem, because a really inclusive development of the whole of Mindanao, which will include all the stakeholders, the Lumads, the Christians, the Muslims, etc., etc., will create peace and order. And peace and order is a prerequisite to the development process. If the three countries are serious about this, or the four countries, they have now agreed on joint patrols to eliminate all this kidnapping, etc., etc. And then they will cooperate in producing disarming, for example, of these dissidents there. You can have peace and order, then development will come in. Development will come in automatically.
Okay, Professor.
Well, yeah, that's true that ASEAN is turning 50 next year, and it's considered a milestone. And the Philippines, being a founding member of ASEAN, is chairing ASEAN during that time. And
yes.
so while we have attained the so-called ASEAN community and its 3 pillars last year, really the next step is to what will be the challenges that will be faced by this regional organization. There's a lot of criticism that ASEAN is no longer as relevant as when it was founded in 1967.
Those are all political security issues anyway.
Right. But we know that ASEAN, when it was founded, it viewed security and development as intertwined. There can never be security without development, and vice versa.
But can I flash back to history?
Sure, please.
Because when it looked at ASEAN, we have to look at 2 regions.
Right.
The Mekong group,
that's the mainland Asia.
mainland Asia, well, it's actually Chinese and all that sort of thing, and the Mafilindo, the Malayans.
Okay, Malaysia, Indonesia, Philippines, the archipelagic.
The dream of Dr. Jose Rizal and Polinario Mabini was a Pan-Malaya. Pan-Malaya, this is precisely the Borneo, or the Borneo, the whole Philippines, no? And Indonesia, all that. And because of the foresight of President Capagal, we set aside the Sabah claim and sacrificed the Sabah claim. Well, not sacrifice, but put it in the back burner and brought together the leadership, Abdul Rahman Sukarno, to create the Mafilindo. Mafilindo metamorphosed into the ASEAN.
Yes.
Right. So for me, it's we should have two growth areas: the East and the West. Concentrate on the East Asia, the IAGA, BIMP IAGA group, which will bring in the Malays group. I think we can work together, as we were able to do before all of this problems.
Because historically, all this the cultures here are interconnected.
Right.
Interconnected, yes, and so I think that's something that they can consider.
Right, right. ASEAN is, when it attained its community supposedly last year, it set new promises or new commitments until 2025. And what, for the first time, the vision of ASEAN is to put people in the center. And I think the Philippines, when it chairs ASEAN next year, will really try and push that agenda to ensure that ASEAN remains relevant, not only for governments, because so far it's been an intergovernmental organization. But we know that increasing regional integration and intensifying regional integration, you need to put the people up front and center. So this requires really inclusive development. This requires solving a lot of internal problems as well as external problems. There's a lot of insurgency movements in ASEAN. There's a lot of peace processes going on. So it's important that the Philippines, being a democratic country that it is, could spearhead somehow an effort to put to put people at the center.
Strengthen the people-to-people
Exchanges.
exchanges.
I'd like to be more specific
Okay.
about the thing, because you talk about ASEAN, talk about the globe, the universe, the cosmos, it's very difficult to plan. I'd like to concentrate on getting the BIMP IAGA in place. I want to connect Sabah with Zamboanga, Menado with General Santos, land, sea, and air. I'd like to create a food basket in Mindanao, in Sabah, and Sulawesi. These are very specific things, and that's what the technocrats should now begin to talk about, rather than all of these very cloudy visions of unity. All of that sort of
There's
thing.
so much positive prospects about BIMP IAGA during the Ramos administration. What happened?
That's a mystery. In fact, there was an office, the North Borneo office, in the Department of Foreign Affairs. That was supposed to look over the but that's suddenly, in my last visit to DFA, I was looking into the place.
I'm always at the
Apparently,
DFA. I don't see that office.
it's gone. It's disappeared. So I don't know the reason for this sudden disenchantment with this little office.
So is there a chance to really revive BIMP IAGA? What is needed to really revive BIMP IAGA?
I think this meeting before the end of the year should be
when is this, sir?
in September, I think.
Okay, who will meet?
Oh well, the BIMP IAGA group.
Okay,
BIMP
business
IAGA.
people or government
I don't know
officials?
what to be. I suppose to be both. It
Okay.
will be both private and public.
We can
people.
say
I mean,
that.
the pursuit of BIMP IAGA is great. Just like you have the Greater Mekong cooperation venture on the other side. But we know, for us who study ASEAN, we know that the critical principle here is ASEAN centrality.
Yes.
That you may have all of these initiatives, but what is good is that what makes ASEAN attractive, not only by the members themselves, but by outside powers, is that ASEAN has a convening power. It doesn't have any ambition to dominate the region. It simply wants a stable atmosphere so that all the members of ASEAN, whether it's the maritime states or the mainland states, could have a secure atmosphere to pursue development, to be able to finish their state building and nation building projects.
But for the Philippines, what is more quote-unquote relevant, because this can be felt, is the development of the BIMP IAGA.
Charity begins at home. you see.
Okay.
And I would like to see the BIMP IAGA develop Mindanao. I'd like to see the Ala Valley, the Liguasan Mars, the Agus River, the tourism in the China Sea and in the Pacific being developed by air, sea, and air, land, sea, and air. I think this is my wish list for the BIMP IAGA. And they can take the rest.
I mean, for me, it's not mutually exclusive.
Okay.
Like, we're talking about concentric circles here.
Okay.
So the nearest circle might
he's
be...
an ASEAN citizen.
Right.
Yes.
The nearest circle might be the Bimpiyaga.
Okay.
But it's not as if that you devote resources to one, that you're not able to devote resources for the other. And we're talking about strategic thinking here, that there is a bigger arena, there's a bigger regional environment that the Philippines is situated in. And this comes at a time wherein ASEAN is no longer ruled by the founding leaders like Marcos, Lee Kuan Yew, Mahathir, Suharto. These are the ones that set up ASEAN. And at present, and some might disagree with me, there's a current leadership vacuum within ASEAN. Indonesia is supposed to be the informal leader, right? But Indonesia hasn't stepped up to the plate of providing leadership. So if I'm the Philippine government, that's an opportunity to somehow project my country beyond the neighborhood that is very proximate, but to somehow be strategic in putting the Philippines not just in that small map of maritime Southeast Asia, but the bigger map of the Asia Pacific.
So you're saying, in fact, that the ASEAN should have a face, the face of a leader, and this could be assumed by,
Well, I'd also
Philippines.
like to see the Bimpiyaga ASEAN as a whole being part of the maritime Silk Road and the maritime road that is the vision of China, which is a supply chain, actually. And if you throw in the AAIB, which will provide the financing to put up all the port facilities, all of that sort of thing. These are really the very specifics of this thing, which will put that not only this will create not only intra-regional development but inter-regional development, and bring ASEAN as a centerpiece in the global, trade exchange.
Okay. During our last trip to China, they had all these talks on the one road, one belt policy, and China and ASEAN, but unfortunately the Philippines never included in their map of the Silk Road. So hopefully the next administration would endeavor to include the Philippines in this.
Right.
Silk
Our
Road.
foreign ministry, the Department of Foreign Affairs, in fact, called the attention of China there, and then China said, "Of course you're included, right?" So it's just I think
You're
it would.
included in the map.
I think it would even be in against China's economic interests to not include. We're talking about 100 million people.
Yes.
We're talking about really a country that could be a market for their products, but as well as their and a country that is strategically placed geographically. So I think when we said like we were not included there, for China it was read as, oh, they want to be included. Of course,
So if
you want to be included, then you're included.
Okay. Well, when we come back, we will talk more about the different issues that should be confronted by the next administration. We will be back.